y'all, how you perking? I hope you perking good. So, July 2023 predictions video. We are here. We have made it to July. In fact, today is July 1st, 127 on July 1st here. So, I'm filming this on the day of. Sorry for that. I usually like to get it out a little bit earlier, but oh boy, I was under the weather in a very strange way, which I can explain later if I remember. But here we go. Hopefully YouTube will let me get this up to y'all ASAP so that y'all won't be sitting here waiting for it. But here, as of July 1st, we are going to get this out to you. So, if you are new here, I'm a licensed mental health clinician as well as a spiritual intuitive, and in these videos we take a look at the tea with the tarot and find out what in the hell we can expect to see coming down the pipeline in July 2023. Got a good track record here, so keep an open mind. Be kind to everybody in the comments, even if you want to express some sort of disagreement or vent some frustration or whatever. It's fine. It's all fine. So let me go ahead and bring up the cards over here and move this microphone right here. Oh, Penelope in her white, because I'm like, okay, I got some white symbols and stuff on this black shirt. Let me get her to match. Although she got a little bit of a janky eye going on over there. That's funny. So as I get shuffled up here for us, just as a reminder, these monthly predictions videos are always open internationally, and so we see things that happen in here from all around the world. A lot of stuff from the US does tend to come up, since that's right here where I'm sitting, but things come up for other countries as well. It's been very interesting over the years to see what kinds of things come up. So having that included, we take a look at all kinds of things. We take a look at what's coming up this month in politics, in the economy, with finance stuff, markets, health, wellness, people's careers, whatever else we need to know. We look at all kinds of things. In fact, we look at so many things that we generally have more than what we can fit into this main video, and we make a second video to put over on the Perk Squad, which is the channel membership. So for anybody that likes learning about all these things that are going to happen in July 2023, and they want to know more about what else we can know coming down the pipeline for this month, then of course you can hop on over there by clicking the blue join button down below, or the link in the description box. So let's start here with politics, as usual. That's always our first category. So, it's been a bit of a shit show in the cards for the last couple of months. So, I'm interested to see how this is going to turn out here. You never know. You genuinely never know. So, let's see what we're looking at here. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Not all bad to start out with. You know, I ain't mad at it to start out with. But what we're seeing here politically is we're gonna get some partnerships, I guess, forming, some weird like allies, groups of allies starting to form together. And so it looks like that there's some things going on that are going to kind of pull people into teams, like either you're on their side or you're on our side about this kind of thing. And so this, you know, we see that kind of thing a lot of issues becoming polarized and us versus them and stuff like that. But here we're in a very real way going to see people literally choosing sides and picking camps. Like we're going to see certain people like actually, whether it's like make speeches or put out tweets on Twitter or things like that, where they're actually showing, I do not support so-and-so, or I align with so-and-so. Like, they're going to be explicitly stating who they don't support and who they do align with, support, endorse. And so we're going to be seeing those in very clear ways, like no uncertain terms. That's going to be really obvious. And so those things, maybe so far it's been kind of unspoken that, look, it looks like they seem to be on the same page. They kind of think the same way or feel the same way, or those are so-and-so's people. That's them. But what we're going to see is some literally explicit ways that this starts to carve itself out in July 2023. So be on the lookout for that, because as people start literally and explicitly making those collaborations, partnerships, etc., things tend to bubble up and out about that. Things tend to trickle down about that. And so that could cause an interesting wave of sorts. So we're going to see that. Moving forward, we have the Chariot card, which, pun intended, Chariot's about moving forward. Ha ha ha. Okay, I'll see my way out. But moving forward with the Chariot card upright and the Page of Wands upright, there's also going to be this real sense of new information coming out and driving points forward. So, like, how do I put this? There's going to be certain discoveries or releases of information that people have probably been waiting on for a while, and they actually start to kind of come out. And when people who have wanted that information get a hold of it, they're going to run it a mile. So be on the lookout for people taking something and just going full force ahead with it. So this could be really ugly. It could be ugly. If you've ever had, let's see, like, growing up, did you ever have somebody that you're like, man, if they knew something about my life, then they would really use that as ammo against me. If they found that out, they would really throw that in my face, and they would take that as far as it could go, and I would never be able to escape from that. Have you ever had something like that happen, or you've seen that happen to somebody? This, in a political scale, political theme, big time, in July 2023, we're going to see that somebody that has been salivating and chomping at the bit to get some sort of information, and they're like, I've got a nugget now. Now I've got something. You better believe I'm going to take this all the way. And so they do. They run with it, and they run with it fairly successfully. It doesn't mean everybody cares or buys into it, but fairly successfully, in that there is a certain base of people who are willing to be ride or die about this. And so just, this is, so far, all the things that they're putting out here is just really that upping the ante type of feeling politically. And I mean, we feel like we're already in kind of a politically heated environment, at least here in the States. I don't know about, y'all elsewhere, but it already feels kind of like, it's hot in the kitchen, okay? It's already hot in the kitchen. We don't need you to set a grease fire on the damn stove, Brenda. It's already spicy up in here. But it's gonna get worse. So, yay. I said earlier, these aren't terrible cards, because technically, I was almost expecting way worse than that. But, if that's kind of what we're looking at, then things could be worse. Things could be better. Down here at the bottom row, though, this is very interesting. This is about people who feel like they're not getting what they wanted and that they're having to like fight tooth and nail to get what they feel like they need or deserve in order for them to feel like they're fully capable, resilient, strong selves. And so they're not gonna stop easily. They're not gonna be a doormat anymore if they feel like they have already. They're not gonna settle for less. They're not gonna let go and just go with the flow anymore. So these are people that are serious about being like, now is the time. I am gonna, come hell or high water, make sure that I get what I'm due or what I deserve or whatever. These people may be thinking that, and they may be right that, yeah, you do deserve that. Or these people may be thinking that, and they may be wrong and have kind of a false sense of entitlement about something that they don't necessarily deserve. They just feel like they do, per se. And I have to air quote that because, you know, it's kind of a, deservingness is kind of a hard hard concept to kind of really think about. So I'm not really going to put a judgment on that. Y'all can decide how you think and feel about the idea of deservingness. But either way, there's going to be like more than one type of situation like this going on. So what I'm getting here is like, how do I explain this? Like with this card, this is kind of reflecting career aspects. So there's going to be some people that are fighting this in terms of career. Like, hey, I need to have these certain, you know, working standards where you know I have a good workplace and I'm going to fight for that, or I need to, you know, fight for my right to have a fair salary, and so I'm going to push for that, or something like that. Career related stuff that people start being like, no, I'm not settling. I'm not taking no for an answer. Now's the time. You put up or shut up, man. And we're going to see that in a big way. So people who are wanting to push for this in their careers, that's going to become a bigger thing in July 2023, and it's going to get political. Also with that, when we have over here the Nine of Cups, like these, you know, are Wands cards. They're that kind of more career ambition, passion type vibe. But then with those Cups cards, that's much more emotional. It can be much more personal. And so this can be for people who have some sort of personal matters. It's not necessarily all about career. It's something about themselves that they like identify with personally. They feel at some core emotional level like I deserve something, or this thing isn't getting met, or, you know, whatever. And they're going to be like, now is the time. I'm fighting for this. You know, I'm standing up for this. And again, for any of the people represented here in this category, it does not automatically mean that they all have earned something, quote unquote, deserved something, quote unquote. Some people may, and some people might be really just pulling for all the stops just because they want to, or they can, or whatever, in a way that could come off as a little bit spoiled or something. And so it's kind of hard to say, and I'm trying not to be, you know, catty or whatever to anyone. But I do see these kind of two categories of people making a big fuss in July 2023 in a way that gets political. Again, one being more about career stuff and one being more about something deeply emotional and personal, and it vamping up in July. So it's for both sets of these categories of folks. I imagine that it's already kind of been something that was brought up. It's just that it's gonna keep going. So this is like an expansion and extension of all of that. So tumultuous, heated times coming up politically in July 2023. Just, just more heat. And for those of us in this certain hemisphere over here, like in the States, it's the summertime. And so, literally and figuratively, more heat coming at you in July. Like, holy shit. Yeah. So let me pull these up, reshuffle, so we can go on to the next category, because the next category sometimes kind of ties into this one, the economy and finances and markets and stuff. A lot of times those things have some sort of political influences or roots or stuff like that. And so sometimes it's hard to separate the two, but we do what we can, trying to get information on both. So I'll shuffle these up for us. And as I'm shuffling, as always, if you'd like to book a private reading. If you'd like to book a private reading with me, then my website is BeasTalksAndTarot.com. You can book a private reading. You can book a Reiki Energy Healing Session if you feel like you need a cleansing, clearing, and tune-up. Got life coaching for anybody that's like, I'm stressed out and I am stuck and please help. We got that for you. Also for people that are like, I just want to be able to read the cards, kind of, how do you read the cards? I want to learn this stuff. Then we've got tarot tutoring for y'all too. So any of those things, you can book on my website again, BeasTalksAndTarot.com, for private readings and all of that jazz. But economy 2023 July, what do we see here? Spirit guides, what can we know, spirit guides, about July 2023 economy? Wow, okay, some of these cards are kind of intense. Alrighty then. So first of all, I swear, this just happens a lot, and so it's a thing. As many of you who watch the channel all the time know, this is our President Biden card. It's not always a President Biden card. Like if we're doing a true crime reading, like we did a true crime reading recently on Brian, was it Koberger is his last name, for the Idaho 4. We've done one on the whistleblower about aliens and stuff recently, David Grush, I believe his name is. In those kinds of readings, true crime readings, obviously we're not going to be like, President Biden is in the middle of the true crime reading. But when it's on a subject that could very well pertain to him, and this card comes up, it's very often a signifier for our U.S. president here. And so here we've got his card coming up in the economy section. They're putting him in the upright position. So once again, the spirit guides are not trying to shit talk the man. So if you want to shit talk him in your own way, whatever, we have that right in the United States. So you can do that. But just be, again, civil in the comments with each other as y'all go through putting out your opinions. They have him here, not shit talking him, but they have him right up under the death card, which is about things that need to change and need to transform. And so in no uncertain terms do they think that that's something that should happen and is trying to happen right now as it relates to the economy and finance and things like that. We've got several finance types cards here, which makes me not at all surprised to see if we're talking about that section. And we've got these Pentacles cards coming up here representing finance. So not surprising at all to see these types of cards here. So we've got Slowpoke over here in the upright position. We've got this idea of like, we're working on it, okay? We're trying, we're figuring it out one step at a time. Got that in the upright position. But in terms of like flourishing, no, that's in the reverse position. Flourishing is not there. Standing our ground is coming up over here. And so what this is looking like in July 2023 is maybe not the best thing to see. I'll be honest here, okay? If something really has to change over but it's being slow and people are really having to try to work on it and stand their ground, and you can't really have this overflow of abundance. Like, people could feel, whether it's a quote unquote truth or not, you know, a fact or not, people can feel some, like, dare I say, recession vibes or whatever from July 2023. So people are probably going to feel like, wow, I have to pinch pennies even tighter right now. Like, for whatever reason, things are feeling even more like a challenge to me financially now. I feel more stunted financially in terms of the ability to do anything about my finances or really grow them or, you know, channel that inner abundance right now. Like, people are going to feel like their hands are tight a bit more in July 2023. And so we're going to have to feel like we're standing our ground more. We're going to have to feel like the things that we were hoping for financially, that we were banking on, might take a bit longer for those things to have some sort of hope of coming around. So there's kind of a losing hope a little bit feeling in finances. That, again, doesn't mean that we are literally losing hope in finances, but that there's some sort of internal feeling of, I don't feel as hopeful as I did. A deflated feeling internally among people, and they're not just getting that out of nowhere. These cards are coming up because some kind of literal tangible way in July 2023, that theme is gonna be up and out there. You know, that's a very clear and present theme. And so, you know, people can't help but to feel that way in July. So that's a little bit tough, you know, to see. I don't necessarily get disaster cards in terms of like finance stuff for July 2023. It just feels deflating, and feels like, man, whatever my plans were or my thoughts were, I guess it's just going to take a little bit longer to get there, and I'm going to have to stand my ground on it, because damn, like, when are my ships going to come in on this, you know? And so I empathize with folks on that boat. I'm on that boat myself. Y'all know I work 3 jobs so that I feel like I can, you know, cover my bills and try to pay off things that are hanging over my head from whenever, you know, all kinds of shit, medical debt, student debt, shit like that. You know, it happens. We have those things. And so I feel y'all in this camp. July, we're just gonna have to keep with it. I think the reason why here they're putting the Biden card upright is, again, they're not wanting to shit talk him, and that they're not wanting to say, dude, all of this is your fault, especially since this is a international reading. He's not the fault for whatever the economy is in, you know, some other countries and stuff around the world, but he is coming up because in some kind of a way he is important in this discussion. If he wasn't important to this discussion, he wouldn't be here in this lineup, but his card is here, and so in some type of way he's important to this. So they're bringing it up, especially again as they relate to this death card talking about change. They're bringing it up to be like, dude, he has the power to make something change with this. He has the power to make something shift with this, and either he chooses to or he doesn't. So this is going to be an interesting thing to see if he kind of steps up to the plate to be helpful in this way. It doesn't look like he's like being super harmful, again, because he's in the upright position, but in terms of the context sitting here around him, I'm not entirely sold he's being super helpful either. Like, it feels like he could be doing more to help the world than what he has been doing. So just throwing that out there here again. Just reading the cards. This is all alleged, just my interpretation, as y'all see. All alleged, just my interpretation, okay? As always. But that's what they're showing here. So I'm going to scoop these back up, and we're going to reshuffle and pull a little bit more in this one. So a little bit more in this reading to see what else we can kind of know here, July 2023, and then we will continue to see if there's anything else too in a second video that, again, I'll put on the Perk Squad, so they'll get an extended video for some more insights and information for anybody that wants to join the Perk Squad. One of the perks to the Perk Squad, and there are many, there's like 5 or 6 or something like that, you can read all about them if you click that blue join button, but one of them is video shout outs. So video shout outs like this one. Shout out to you, Samantha M. Thank you for being a member of the Perk Squad. Thank you for being a member of the Perk Squad, Samantha M. We are happy that you are here. Yes. So shout out to you, Samantha M. Alrighty. So before we get to that Perk Squad video though, health, wellness, any kind of thing that could possibly go into that. What can we know here, July 2023? Last time it brought up things like that there was some kind of either weather-related events or natural disasters. Oh God, national disasters. So that would have been real horrible. Natural disasters. Please don't let that be a Freudian slip for July 2023. Please don't let that be national disasters. Please don't let that be a Freudian slip for July 2023. I intended to say natural disasters and things like that, and I like even talked about stuff like possible fires and stuff like that. And yeah, there were things that came up last month exactly under that. Those weather-related events and natural disaster-related events were hopping all over the world, and specifically there were some photos going around of how horrible it looked in some areas of New York and Canada with some of the fires there. It was like very orange smoky air and all this stuff, you know, just scary things going on with that. And so this section sometimes tells us stuff like that, and you never know. So let's see what we're looking at for July 2023 with anything involved in that. Okay, well, yeah, no, that's one way to start. Okay, you know, there's a happy little twist here at the end, so we'll take that. We'll take that. But kind of in keeping with the things that I was already mentioning, and I didn't even mean for that to segue into what we were going to read. It just kind of happened that it did segue. But seeing some of these things up here, this is like when people are making decisions that they're basically shooting themselves in the foot with those decisions. And so as it relates to health and wellness and the state of the world and how it contributes to that, this is not looking great in terms of people making good decisions for themselves. And so this looks like people are just, you know, when you make a decision and you're like, pretty sure this isn't in my best interest, but you know, I just kind of want to, and you do it anyway. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of that happening in July. Okay, there's going to be a lot of that happening in July. And the issue with that is when we en masse do that, it causes problems. Do y'all remember back at the start of the pandemic whenever we all got scared and, you know, people started panic buying and hoarding food, hoarding toilet paper and shit like that, and we were doing things because we thought it was the decision that we needed to do for ourselves or something like that, but in actuality we were just kind of shooting ourselves in the foot and making things harder for ourselves and others, and it just kind of trickled down into one big mess. There's that kind of a vibe here for July 2023. I'm not necessarily saying a second pandemic or anything, you know, go quite that far, but I am saying if you can remember how that period of time felt and the way that people were, making some irrational decisions or decisions out of fear or lack or in some ways anger and resentment and things like that, how that ended up kind of culminating and affecting the collective. There's some kind of sense of that for July 2023. So some sort of sense of people en masse making not the greatest decisions, and it ends up affecting the collective in a multitude of ways. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, because that's going to affect the health of a lot of people. We're talking physical health, we're talking emotional health, mental health, spiritual health, psychological health, all the different dimensions of health that these decisions, these short-sighted decisions are gonna impact. And so kind of not cool to see that there. So just for us, since we're seeing this here, if we want to be in any kind of a way an antidote to that, then maybe we should be more mindful of our own choices so that we're not doing any kind of a knee-jerk decision making based on fear or anger or shame or any of those quote unquote negative emotions, that maybe if we see other people doing things like that, if there's a means to assist in neutralizing or a means to assist in raising our voice saying, hey, whatever you're doing, you think you're doing something that's helping yourself or others, but actually you're fucking up, and saying it in a better way than that, because maybe people aren't going to be so responsive to it if you word it in that way. But right now, y'all, I don't have the capacity to think about a beautiful way to word something right now. I'm just in the mode like, quit fucking it up for the rest of us. That's where I'm at right now, okay? If I talk to someone in person, I think I can carry a little bit more tact. But for right here, right now, that's what I got. Okay, that's what I'm bringing for you. Seeing that here for July 2023. Down here, interesting for it to start out kind of rough, but end up with something better. So, for it to start out kind of rough here, this is kind of partnerships and things like that. This is kind of like trying to juggle stuff and not drop the ball. And so in some sort of a way, as it relates to health and wellness and things of that nature, we are going to see people trying to juggle things, and it's too many things to juggle to do well. And so let's say, as an example, that we might have certain institutions out there that are like the CDC or stuff like that are supposed to be helping us and keeping us safe. And they've got way too many things on their plate and they're trying to think about too many things at once. And so they give out some shit guidance or something like that. Or, the government starts taking on so many things that they're trying to do this to help these people and this to help those people and this to help those people, to the point that it's like, here you are trying to help all these people and you're missing the forest for the trees. So what you're actually doing in trying to juggle too many balls in the air is you're actually dropping balls in a really shit-tastic way that affects a lot of us here. And so it's kind of a mismanagement of things that directly affects people's health and wellness. And again, when the spirit guides are saying health and wellness, they mean physical health, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, psychological health, all of the dimensions of health. And so these people, institutions, governments, etc. are really dropping the ball because they're trying to do too many things, but they're doing too many of the wrong things, or too many things ineffectively and inefficiently, and it's actually screwing the pooch in that kind of a way. So this is one of those, have y'all ever heard that KISS, KISS, the keep it simple stupid kind of thing? in terms of health and wellness, for July 2023, we are meant to channel that to the nth degree. Keep it simple, stupid. Instead of kind of going off and doing all these whatever things, just simple. What is it that we need here? What do we need to do? Streamline it. Make it simple. Quit complicating shit. Quit overdoing stuff, because in trying to overcomplicate to meet all these things, you're fucking up on the bare basics. And screwing up the foundations for everything. So in a very real way, we're going to see those things tangibly, physically play out in July 2023, and it will be bizarre. Please see it for what it is, whatever it looks like. And I don't know exactly what that's going to look like. It can manifest itself in multitudes of ways, and it might look different to one certain society or culture than to another, to another, to another. There may be different iterations or examples that happen around the world in July 2023, but whatever comes up in your location, in your little world, in your society, pay attention. And so that you can see it for what it is, so that you don't accidentally start agreeing with the people like, yeah, it should be this, and that, and the other. And you're like, wait, am I overcomplicating things? Am I buying into the overcomplication of things? Should I think about whether or not there might be a simpler, more basic way to pursue this? Like, sometimes simple is not worse. Sometimes it's okay to just streamline and simplify, and they're really urging us to do that. And so the good thing about this, remember how I said it ended on a positive here, the good thing about this is this 10 of Cups card. This is a great card. This is kind of a happily ever after card, a family card. There is some sense here to say, especially since it's in the upright position, that there's going to be quite a few more people noticing that in July than have noticed it so far. And they're going to start seeing that, and that's going to start making some wheels turn in a positive direction to get things on into the right place. And so we're going to see some people's perspectives shift. We're going to see some things change, whether that's policy changes, or whether that's some great charitable things kind of being highlighted that people can really get behind and help support, or, you know, whatever it is, some real points of positives in July relative to this. And so please be on the lookout for those and see how you can amplify that. See how you can be a part of the solution in that, because this is looking kind of a all hands on deck scenario, because this affects us all. This affects us all. And so this is a lot here going on for July 2023. So already we're seeing a lot here. And like I said, we need to pull, you know, what else can we know about July 2023? It sounds like it's a big month. You know, anything else we've missed so far that we need to cover, and we're going to take a look at that on the Perk Squad extended video for anybody that wants to move on over there. Again, you can book a private reading with me at BeasTalksAndTarot.com. Love to have you. And as always, there will be a B-roll, so you can stick around here for the B-roll at the end of the video. I like to stick some B-rolls here to always keep the end light or funny or cute or whatever. There's stuff with puppies, stuff that goes on in life, you know, all just stick around. Check it out. See what we got. I end up taking so many damn videos of cute puppies and things like that I am backlogged with videos. There was one here recently that someone was like, hey, in the video you said Teddy was 8 months old. I swear you've had him longer than that. I'm like, oh yeah, I have. we've had that little shit for like a year and a half now. It's just that I record so many videos of them doing so much stuff that I don't have enough of these videos to stick those videos at the end on, and so I'm running behind in some of them. So some of the videos you see are current, some of the videos you see are probably like close to a year old, and I'm like, shit, I don't know. I'm trying to just do it all, but they're all silly little B-roll videos, so the timeline doesn't actually matter, but it is interesting if I happen to mention something in there that it's like, wait, that doesn't make sense now. It's like, you're right, it doesn't. I'm sorry. Y'all are very astute. Y'all catch a lot of things. And that is why I love you, because you're brilliant. Yes, you help me where my brain takes brain farts. Oh, and also, before we end this video, I don't know if any of you are here. If any of you are still here, put some kind of a green emoji in the chat, because green is the color of our heart chakra. So our heart chakra, about love and loving energy and healing energy and expanding in those types of love and healing vibes, is green. And so green hearts, green frogs, green fairies, green whatever, put that in the chat if you're still here as of this story. But I was telling people, like, yeah, filming today on July 1st, usually I like to have the video up by the 1st of the month, and here I am filming on the 1st of the month. Hopefully I'll get it up today. If not, I should get it up tomorrow on the 2nd. But I was saying, like, I wasn't perking too good. And yeah, I do want to mention that real quick, actually, because it's kind of oddly important, that so many times, you know, we in a society will be like, you know, oh, I had a head cold for 3 days, so I had to rest a lot and recover a lot, and I just wasn't nearly as productive as I would have liked to be. And people are like, oh yeah, poor thing. Totally understandable. Rest, drink plenty of fluids, and, you know, don't pressure yourself. Don't do too much. Yeah, you're right. Or, you know, people will be like, man, I sprained my ankle and I wasn't able to do much, you know. I just kind of had to sit down a lot with my foot elevated on some ice, and you know, there's like kind of a week where I was kind of half-assing things, and people are like, yeah, man, that sucks, but totally get it. Don't worry about it. Do you, or whatever. But we don't really do that for other things. And it's so odd, because in a society like ours, who loves to say, yeah, mental health awareness, you know, we had Mental Health Awareness Month in May, just here recently, mental health awareness, and yeah, we're allies for mental health, and this and that and the other, and all this kind of stuff. As soon as someone starts to show signs that they're having some kind of a mental health struggle or challenge, people tend to either start avoiding them or start getting annoyed by them and kind of, you know, chastising them, like, just get over it, or just drop it, or that's not really a big issue, or come on, snap out of it, or, you know, why are you being such a bitch, or, you know, any kind of whatever. And it's so weird that it's like, do y'all know what those things really look like? Because it doesn't look like a beautiful, you know, emo type of photo on Instagram with a beautiful poem of song lyrics right next to it. That's not what the face of mental health challenges looks like. And so for me, for the last 3 or 4 days, I had a moment. And I won't go into everything because I'll spare you for that. But have any of you ever had like a particular, you know, therapy session or something like that where it like took your knees out from under you? Like, you processed some big stuff, you had some big release, they said something, the therapist said something that was like, oh, how did I not see that? How am I just seeing? Oh, whoa, fuck, you know, and it just kind of shakes you to your core, and you're like, whoa. And then you end up having like a therapy hangover for several days where no amount of sleep is enough sleep, and you feel almost physically sick. Like I feel like I'm having a flu and a cold and I want to throw up and have a headache or something. And all of this kind of like you go through a weird like physical, mental, psychological, spiritual, emotional, all the dimensions of health again, issue for like a couple of days there while you're in a therapy hangover. That's what happened to me. And I was not prepared for it. Took me off guard. As a therapist myself, I am used to the types of things that you would talk about in therapy. I'm comfortable with talking about those types of things. It's a part of the process, but I, for whatever reason, I guess just wasn't expecting to have a moment, and I had a moment, and I was good for fucking nothing. I mean, I tried my best to do what I could in my jobs and at home and all of the stuff, and then after about almost 48 hours of just really trying to fight it and push through and be as productive and all of that anyway and get the video filmed, in advance and all of this stuff, I just had to sit there and realize, like, no matter how hard I push, it's not going to fix this therapeutic hangover that I'm going through right now. Like, I'm just going to have to stop. I'm going to have to allow myself to recover. And I'm like, why do we do this to ourselves? Why are others so, invalidating and dismissive of us when we go through these things? And why are we so invalidating and dismissive of ourselves when we go through these things? It's like, quit trying to push yourself and continue to do all the things at the pace that you would normally do. If you're quote unquote sick and need to recover, then people accept that. And so right now, if you're having a therapy hangover, you're sick and you need to recover. And like literally do that. And I'm like, see, it's so weird. I can give that to other people. And somehow I, for 2 days, did not give that to myself until it clicked, like, shit, you need to do that. It's so weird how that happens. But it happens. And so just wanting to say out there right now to people, mental health is physical health. Emotional health is physical health. Psychological health is physical health. Spiritual health is physical health. All health is health. And all of it matters. And if you're sick, you're sick. It doesn't matter which dimension you're sick on. If you're sick, you're sick. And when you're sick, you need recovery. You need healing. You need some level of rest and recuperation. Sure, we don't want to be, all living in some victim stance, kind of always being like, oh, woe is me, I can't do anything ever because everything's so bad and always happens so wrong to me. Sure, we don't need to live habitually in a space like that, because that's not empowering or healing or healthy. But it is empowering, healing, and healthy to say, hey, let me take a day. Let me just take a day. I don't feel well. I'm not doing okay. Like, let me take a day. That's okay. Like, it's okay. And so, yeah, that is a big reason why I'm filming this on the 1st instead of having this already up by now. Because I was not expecting that. Knocked me to my knees, man. And I'm talking I had a brain fart, like, that lasted several days, could not, like, think right, and was, like, saying stupid shit. I'm like, man, I am not making any sense. I'm just like, wow. And so, if that's ever happened to you, I empathize. A lot of people empathize. Take some time to acknowledge in yourself and in others, and for yourself and for others, how holistic health in all of its dimensions is health, and how they all require similar things: rest, recuperation, and being gentle and honoring the process that's going on for there to be recovery. We wouldn't expect someone who broke their leg to immediately the next day run their marathon. We wouldn't, expect someone who just had some kind of a low blood sugar spell to immediately come back to work now this afternoon. I know you fell out this morning and had to go to the hospital over some diabetic spell, but come back to work after lunch break, or whatever. Like we don't expect those things. We know what rest and recuperation and recovery entails, and we give people space to have some days where they're good for fucking nothing, and then to have some space where other days they're mildly productive, but maybe less so than their average. And then we give people the support and the time to figure things out and empower themselves to take responsibility over their own health and proactively work on what's going on and kind of get back up on the horse. And so we need to kind of do that in all ways, and sometimes this is what that looks like. So I know just threw a lot at you, talked at you for kind of a long time right here. So again, if you're still here, put your little green things below. I see ya, I feel ya, you're important. What you're going through is important. Your health on all those different dimensions matters. If nobody has validated that for you recently, I want to validate that for you right now. It makes a difference. It's important to recognize. And if you haven't given yourself permission, I want to give you permission right now to prioritize your recovery. Do the things that are for real, truly self-caring. Don't be like, oh, self-care, take a bubble bath. Remember, I took a bubble bath when somebody told me to do that, gave myself a UTI. Okay? And so bubble baths aren't always the answer. It might be the answer, but it ain't always the answer. Okay? So, by taking care of yourself, what's your sleep hygiene looking like? Could you do better at trying to get more sleep and quality sleep? And if so, what could you do better in trying to do? Could you do better in feeding your body with more nutrition or with more actual water, not just drinks throughout the day, but actual water? If you could, what more could you be doing in those aspects, to take care of yourself in the ways that people would try to take care of you if you were sick, or that you would try to take care of yourself if you were sick, or that your doctor would advise you to take care of yourself if you were sick in a physical way, classically what we think of as physical way? Then are you doing those things for yourself now? And in what ways could you improve that to show that you're prioritizing yourself? So you got permission here to prioritize your health and healing and recovery. You've got validation that, those things that you're going through, the burnout, the stress, the anxiety, something knocking you at your knees and sweeping the rug out from under you and surprising you when you're like, shit, I wasn't ready for that. Now I've got, a whole brain fog, and I'm like, oh, I'm trying to validate this for you. You are seen, you are heard, you are loved. Even if you are not at your most productive today, you are still loved. You are still valued, even if you haven't contributed enough to society today. Still value you, okay? You don't have to earn your worth. You don't have to earn your value. You don't have to do X, Y, and Z or be X, Y, and Z type of person to be lovable, valuable, heard, to have the right to exist. So big hugs to y'all. Take care of yourself. Y'all know I love you. For fuck's sake, y'all know I love you. And I'm saying it again. Love you, mean it. So Perk Squad, I'm coming at you with the second half, July 2023 predictions. We're going to take a look at the rest here, what else we can know, Perk Squad. And then puppy B-roll coming up at you for everybody else here. And love you, mean it. Don't be a stranger. Come back and see me. And love you, mean it. Bye, y'all. Happy Independence Day for everybody in the U.S. You sleepy, Teddy? Yeah, you sleepy boy. Let me see this. Drip.